You are listening to This Week in Clown World with Ben and Hobbs, so sit back, relax, take your black pill, and enjoy the show.
Oh, well, good evening, friends. It is once again time for This Week in Clown World with Ben and Hobbs. I'm Hobbs. He's Ben. You are in Clown World. Yes, it's been 2 weeks since you've seen our smiling faces. Ben had to go and enjoy himself sunning his butthole on the beaches of Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
How was that?
Hawaii was interesting. Completely different world over there. I didn't really hear any news the whole time I was there. Just the island I went to is just people vibing, living their lives. So
What a luxury.
yeah, kind of easy to understand why they're kind of pissed off at white people over there if that's what they're living.
Well, I mean, they're living in a tropical paradise. How bad could it be?
Right. Yeah. Well, they're trying to. The property prices are kind of driving them all out.
Mm.
So it's a story everywhere magnified tenfold. So it was interesting though to learn the history of it. It was kind of the beta version of regime change that the United States employed over the rest of the world. Hawaii was kind of the first one they worked out the kinks on.
Yeah. Did you say it was one of those, like, it just happened at just the right amount of time, because if it would have been a little bit earlier, they would have had no shot or something like that?
Well, yeah, I mean I mean, this is kind of off topic for us, but maybe our listeners don't know the history of Hawaii. There was a king in Hawaii, united all the islands, formed a central government. So then the United States, when they decided they wanted to take it over, the central government was in place. They just had to create a puppet government and stick it in there, and the puppet government voted to join the United States, and there you go.
Yeah, you just had to kind of negotiate with one man instead of having to suppress a whole bunch of tribes all over the place.
Right. Yeah. So if they hadn't formed a central government, they probably would end up with the reservation system and they'd have an island to themselves, like much like what Native Americans get with their chunks of land. But unfortunately, they did not.
Yeah, no casinos for you.
No casinos for you. But yeah, you know, to the people watching this, if you ever want to go to Hawaii, I would recommend the island of Kauai. It's the furthest west island. It's not a corporate hellscape like the big island or like Oahu with Waikiki Beach and all that. It's still genuine people. I when I travel, I don't run into a lot of areas that are Nebraska nice. For those of you not from Nebraska, you might not be aware of it, but it's an actual thing, and that's one of them. The people are actually genuinely nice, like Nebraskans.
Hmm. I was going to say, if you, the other option is, I don't know which island it is, but there's one island that's pretty much off limits because the U.S. Navy uses it as target practice. So you can have the benefits of
That's
nice.
the west. That's the west side of this island. The
Oh,
Pacific launch facility is on the west side of this island. They shoot missiles off over the Pacific and try and shoot them down. Yeah, I took a
hmm.
boat tour that went by it. They have an excellent facility there. So anybody in the Air Force or Navy who ends up there, boy, luck of the draw to them.
But don't they have like a whole island that the Navy shells? Just like a
Um,
tiny island that's basically
maybe I
nothing
know
but
the west side of
UXO.
this one. The west side of this one was off limits, and you could see it's a huge. I mean, it's all military base on the
Hmm.
west side of this island. And there is another island a little bit further west from this one that is off limits to anybody but Native Hawaiians.
Hmm.
It's funny enough, a white plantation owner wanted to preserve Hawaiian culture, so he bought up this whole island, and the Hawaiians on there live as the ancient Hawaiians did.
Well, that's
The island of Nahui, if you want to get into some reading.
well, that's very typical, very white of him.
To preserve their culture. A Scotsman, no less.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I was adventuring in Hawaii. Um, like I said, they don't follow the news over there at all. They're just living their lives. I didn't hear anybody talking politics, even though Hawaii is famously a very blue area. You got a weird mix there because obviously the people on vacation are probably a bunch of MAGA boomers, since they're the ones with money. But no, didn't hear much talk of politics. And I come back to this.
All this.
All this.
An embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, didn't miss it.
An embarrassment of something. That's for damn sure.
I mean, where are we going to go? We're going to go Minnesota. The Epstein stuff has been dropping all day long, and it's worse or as bad as you could imagine, depending on how imaginative you are.
Yeah, so one of the more unhinged, or maybe not unhinged, maybe it's actually spot on and we're just in for a world of shit, is that the reason we got this Epstein drop, 3 million documents, just out of the blue, was because Israel is pressuring Donald Trump to invade Iran, and he was like, "No, I don't want to invade Iran." And they're like, "Oh, well, here's 3 million documents with your name all over them, and if you keep stalling on this Iran invasion, there will be videos and pictures next."
I mean,
So,
just the documents are bad enough where Trump's been mentioned.
yeah, his names are in them like 3,000 times, but the people that have gone through it, a lot of it's exculpatory. It's
Yeah,
just.
it's he said, she said stuff, right?
Mhm.
But did I see Trump got a toothy blowjob and punched a girl on the back of the head? It said.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that people are pointing at as like damning evidence against people like Trump and Elon and sort of people in the magosphere is emails that Epstein either sent himself or sent Ghislaine Maxwell. Just like almost like trophies
Mhm.
or almost like red herrings, you could say.
Yeah, some of the stuff, just day to day, the amount of people that were involved with this dude is just crazy. Um,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Elon
Yeah.
Musk got turned down supposedly to join an island party.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. I mean the documents got released, but I mean it's all like you said, it's all he said, she said stuff.
Hmm. And they won't release anything that's terribly damning because a lot of it involves underage people in compromising positions. uh, One thing that did get released though was a picture of Prince Andrew on all fours hovering over a young girl who had her face blacked out, and you could clearly tell that it was him.
Yeah,
So things are not looking good for that guy.
and a lot of stuff too, like George Bush, the Bush family's mentioned in it. Uh, Bill Clinton repeatedly. It's like every politician within the last 30 years was involved with this scumbag.
And Bill Gates is
Bill Gates, that's
like, you think that the harmless little nerd with his pink sweater is some type of sex pest. It's it's pretty weird. Apparently, he caught some STD from a Russian hooker, and he was begging Epstein to give him some antibiotics on the down low that he could slip into his wife's drinks to make sure she didn't catch anything. So imagine that, another Microsoft product that's full of viruses.
yeah.
And
And again, allegedly, I suppose, but I mean that one
yeah,
really seems believable.
yeah, and you can make two jokes out of this. It's another Microsoft product full of viruses, and Bill Gates once again trying to medicate someone without their consent.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, it's an embarrassment of riches this week.
Um, I didn't see Mossad mentioned anywhere in it.
And you never
From
will.
Yeah, from what I've seen. Well, it's obvious. I mean, there's multiple instances of Epstein talking about he gets into uh, noticing things as far as IQ and races. Um, he talks about how genetically superior the Jews are.
Oy vey.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I just don't know. It's so gross, and there's so many people in it. I've said it before. I'll be so glad when we're post Epstein era, as far as politicians and people in power.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath. We still talk about Watergate
Yeah,
50 years on, so 60 years on.
and just his reach and stuff too. What I see, there was a NASCAR guy who was sending Epstein Valentine's Day memes that popped up, and apparently this. I mean, you've seen the Ballad of or Talladega Nights. NASCAR guys like the smoking hot wives. Apparently, this guy married a model who was connected to Epstein in some way, so that led him to become buddies with Epstein.
Yeah, it really seems like this guy is just you know, it's been you and me. We've been saying it since the beginning of this whole thing kicked off that it really seemed that Epstein was not an agent of CIA or the Mossad or MI6 or any of those. He was just a free agent that was casting a wide net to get as much blackmail on as many different people as he possibly could, and then he would be like, "Oh, Prince Sheikh Habibi from Saudi Arabia is stooping some little girl. This will be of great interest to the Iranians. Let's sell it to them." Or, you know, this obscure British noble is doing something that he shouldn't be doing. I bet the French could make a lot of hay out of this. Let's sell it to them. Or just any of these like political power plays.
Oh, looks like I lost Hobbs, or I dropped one of the two. Um, so yeah, the he just kind of he was collecting.
I'm back.
All right, yeah, it seems like he was collecting people in power like some demented Pokemon.
Yeah,
You got to get them all.
you got to catch them all, man. But
I
yeah,
mean,
he's just
he'd meet one powerful person, use that to segue into other ones, and then, I mean, look at the Elon Musk thing. Elon Musk's brother was picking up dates from Epstein. I don't know much about his brother. Why is he significant? Is he a CEO in something, or what does Kimball do?
I I don't know. I think he's in charge of the family's minerals back in South Africa. The Musks came up from being emerald miners in South Africa, and I think he's the guy that's in charge of that stuff. I could be wrong.
He's a restaurateur, apparently.
Huh.
Um, just looking quick here. Yeah, started a couple businesses. Um, got involved with Elon, investing in his various adventures, and now he's a restaurateur.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay then.
the guy Epstein just seemed to be involved with everybody. Um, I don't know. It's just so gross. I don't even. I just want to be past it. You get rid of all these sleep. I mean, where do we even go from here? There's so many people involved that are scummy pedophiles, apparently. Um,
And even the people that aren't pedophiles, it's like pedophile adjacent, or you know, even people that had no idea what was going on.
Pre-sex
And
trafficking convention, right? We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay.
yeah, but you're still tainted now.
Yeah. The people that still want to hang out with them after the sex trafficking conviction that, had the air of pedophilia about it and were still wanting to hang out with them, what's their excuse?
Yeah, anybody pre 2009, you can realistically say that, like, oh, well, I had no idea. But after 2009, when he was convicted of that shit, there's no excuse.
Yeah. I mean, like Elon Musk was trying to party with him in, what was it, 2012?
Yeah.
Did you see probably one of the main reasons he's befriending Bill Gates? Apparently Jeffrey Epstein got kicked off at Xbox Xbox Live.
I want to know what Epstein's gamer tag was, because I want to know if I ever got griefed in GTA Online by Jeffrey Epstein, because
Is that his game? Did they show that?
No, I don't know, but he seems like the kind of guy that would fly around on that gay and retarded flying motorcycle with the missiles and shoot people just for the sake of shooting people.
I was guessing Epstein would be a Roblox player.
Ooh, yeah, I see it. I see it.
Now, yeah, I mean, there's so many documents. People are going through them presently. They're just spending their weekend digging through them to find new stuff. And like you said, it's all he said, she said. The Bush family's implicated multiple times. What was the email where said they saw Bush Sr. with a little boy or something? And let's see if I can find it here. I mean, there's just male Epstein victim allegedly raped by President Bush and witnessed a baby being dismembered.
Yeah, the Bushes have connections to some stuff that goes way back to before Epstein. You can go back to like Prescott Bush in the Second World War, where he was helping to finance both sides of the war uh, with IG Farben and a bunch of other shit that goes on. Bushes are heavily involved in Skull and Bones at Yale, and some of the things that are said about Skull and Bones is a little
The
creepier.
one I'm talking about here, this is an interview by FBI of a purported Epstein victim. They gave him mushrooms, raped and sodomized by Clinton. I mean, just being raped by Epstein and Clinton. He was heavily drugged. Stated the above incident repressed memories until he began therapy in 2016.
I would probably push that down to the back end of my psyche too.
Yeah. The other one, another FBI agent. No, this was an NYPD interview. Guy says he's on a yacht, witnessed multiple instances of rape and ritualistic sacrifice of infants.
Must be the undesirables from Zorro Ranch.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've got such a spectrum of shit going on here. You've got, just goofy, your run of the mill sex parties. Now we're getting into sacrifices to Moloch.
Yep. Great. Fantastic. Speaking of obscure Babylonian deities, I also did see that one of his bank accounts was named Baal. So that's BAAL, not the money that I'll use when I get arrested and have to post bail, but BAAL, the ancient Babylonian deity associated with the devil.
Well, and then we always talk about this stuff. I mean, obviously Epstein is not new. There's no way he's the only guy that came up with this in the late 90s, early 2000.
No, we've talked about how the connections between him and Ghislaine Maxwell and her father Robert Maxwell leads me to believe that this was not an Epstein operation. This was a Maxwell operation, and that Ghislaine was the legacy operator, and Epstein was brought in as more of a beard. Not only as like the fall guy in case something went tits up with the whole operation, but also because prior to the whole sex trafficking thing, he had inside access to a lot of international finance. There's after he worked at Dalton School in New York, he went from being like a college dropout to a math teacher at one of the most prestigious private schools in New York, to then working for Bear Stearns on multi-billion-dollar accounts. So he was likely compromised while he was working at this school. Somebody recognized that he had these sorts of tendencies for underage girls. He was a college dropout, and he went to be a math teacher. So somebody put him in that position around young children because they probably knew or at least recognized that he would have been easily compromised. So
Mhm.
he was compromised at this school, which is it's a private school where like the upper echelons, the elite of the elite, send their children to this school. And he did that for something like 2 or 3 years. He was kicked out of there, and then he immediately somehow leveraged his connections by working at Dalton School to getting a foot in the door at Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is like an investment banking, one of those New York financial institutions where he started working in a lot of like shady, possibly dark money things. There's reason to believe that he was involved in the Iran Contra affair. That will tell you, like, how long he's been around doing this stuff, as well as the upper echelons of both government and finance that he got himself into. He was the bag man. Well, I'm not gonna say he was, but there's reason to believe that he was the money guy, the guy that moved the money around in the international banking accounts to make the Iran Contra affair happen.
Hmm.
And so I believe all of that was pre Maxwell. And then she entered his life and I guess got her hooks into him, leveraging her connection with the international intelligence community through her father, and then utilizing his connections in international finance to kind of build this shadow money, shadow brokering of information and supplies. Because I don't think that the human trafficking was the extent of it. I think that Epstein was involved in trafficking of anything. You have a pirate group off the coast of Somalia that needs some RPGs. You contact Jeffrey Epstein and you hook up a deal. He's gonna wire the money to an offshore bank that's going to get in contact with a former Soviet colonel who's got access to a warehouse full of munitions somewhere in the sticks of Ukraine. They're gonna fall off of a truck somewhere, and then they'll be down the port of Aden and into the sea off the coast of Somalia in a couple of weeks. These are the sorts of like connections that the intelligence community through Maxwell and the finance community through Epstein can then put together. And then I think that the human trafficking, the sexual blackmail was just one component of it that everybody focuses on, because raping kids is one of the most heinous things that anybody can think of.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder too. I wonder how many other people are operating like him. He was just the one that got too horny and got caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his own vices and predilections are probably what got him into it, and they're also what got him into trouble in it.
Yeah, there's got to be people out there that aren't, as how would that don't have the same weaknesses that Epstein had and are controlling people also. It just makes me wonder how many more are in the shadows with this type of information,
Right.
which
Yeah,
is
that that
scary.
old that old saying, "Don't get high on your own supply," exists for a reason. There are people out there who are probably doing everything that Epstein did and worse, who aren't into diddling kids, but they see that as a means to an end or another tool in their tool chest. It's not for me. I don't rape kids, but I know there's plenty of people in power that do, and if that's their thing and that's what I have to facilitate in order to get the information that I need to go about doing my things in the shadows, and that's the sort of thing that I'm going to have to do, is the type of person that's probably really pulling the strings.
And I like to think, well, maybe the era of the Epsteins is over with, the always on internet and how easy it would be to catch people doing this sort of thing. So maybe the people that were into that aren't going to be doing it anymore. But I don't know. I'd like to think that.
Yeah, but with the internet, it also comes the possibility that a lot of the things that we're seeing or being seen are fake, or we're being fed information to, color our outlook on things.
Yeah, I mean, it could all be fake. I mean, even if a video comes out, I mean, that's automatically going to be a defense somebody could take at this point.
Yeah.
because they took so long to release. I mean, imagine if they'd released all. That might be some of their deniability they're going to use. Imagine if they'd released all these videos before we had AI that could pretty much make anything you want. There would be no denying it. But now all these videos are going to come out, and automatically they're going to be able to say, "Oh, it's AI."
Yeah. Even though you do have to realize, I say this all of the time. Anything, any high technology thing that you know about, the government has had for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
They're not going to dump something like generative AI that can make movie quality spoofs on the general public without having it
Well,
themselves.
maybe that's another reason why the era of Epstein wouldn't work anymore. Oh, we've got a video of you in a sex act with underage. Oh, no, you don't. I'll just say you made it AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that era is over for that reason there. You made a good point with the AI stuff.
I don't know. But yeah, speaking of AI fooling everybody, this might be an opportune time to pivot to the other conflagration, which is Tampon Tim's Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That state.
So, yeah, that state. So, Dick Durbin got up in front of Congress today and used an obvious AI photograph to push the narrative that ICE agents are just
Let me guess.
butcher.
The one where the guy's like shooting him in the back of the head in the street, that one?
Yeah, the one where the ICE agent that's on a knee next to the guy has no head. And you can see that his right arm, like, kind of melds into the cummerbund on his tack vest, and you can see the gun behind him is obviously like got like two barrels stacked on top of each other, and it's obvious for anybody who wants to break out of the echo chamber for more than a couple of seconds and actually look at it. But of course, people.
Oh, I think Hobbs dropped again.
Yeah, that was me.
There you are. We got you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what it is. It's like it just drops down for no reason. You don't go anywhere, but
Right.
like,
So, anyways, yeah, the AI. I mean, also the other AI thing. I've got it here where they edited the photo of the dude to make him look more like a tan Chad instead of a weak jawed.
yeah, the low T long face.
Yeah,
One
let me throw that up here.
yeah.
I mean, you can see top is the original. They even gave him. They even made him a little swole too.
Yeah, they gave him biceps, they gave him a tan, they squared his jaw. They made the ratio of his face a little more square, a little more high T.
He
Um,
doesn't. I even noticed that you can see on my glasses how they're overcorrected, so it makes my face look weird. Right there, can you see that? I noticed they did that in his photo too. They didn't want him to think he had poor eyesight.
yeah. One one online schizo, he said that the reason they made him look less Jewish is because if people look at him and automatically assume that he's a Jew, then they'll automatically think Israel Palestine, and then they won't sympathize with him enough.
Yeah, and that whole shooting, I mean, it's been beat to death, so I don't know if everybody's sick of hearing about it. I mean, one of the best takes I saw was, from one of the friends of the show, Trevor Riley. He went in. I mean, the first thing you learn in any concealed carry class, Hop, Hobbs, stop slamming your desk like Alex Jones. You're disconnecting. Uh, any concealed carry class is that when you're approached by cops, you tell them you're armed.
Yeah.
This guy obviously did not do that since they threw him on the ground and found a weapon on him. Has there been the thing I'm interested in, has there been any more discussion on whether it was just a SIG being a SIG? Has anybody done a frame by frame to figure out why the damn thing discharged?
Yeah. Go look for Brandon Herrera on YouTube. He sat down with another YouTuber, Cody, goes by Donut Operator. Donut Operator is a former police officer, and they dissected it. And one of the frames, it does look like the slide is back, like it had just fired, and it looks like the officer's finger is along the side of the frame, not on the trigger. So, yeah, this might be P320 doing P320
So
thing.
like he bumped the rack back a little bit and it slammed and shot, or
No, like the frame. It looks like it had just discharged, and the slide was back, and that was where it was in the frame. Um, it is a possibility that if things get hot in this country and we end up in a civil war, the SIG P320 could be the Fort Sumter moment.
there was just bad training all around on this. The guy had bad training on his concealed carry protocol. The dude that got shot. It didn't look like when the cop secured his weapon, he yelled any sort of all clear or anything. He just grabbed it and started walking away.
Yeah. So the conclusion that Brandon Herrera and Donut Operator came to is that this falls under kind of a gray legal area called lawful but awful, where everything that could have went wrong did go wrong. The cops, they got him. They found a gun on him. One guy took the gun off of him, and as he's walking away with it, said "gun, gun, gun," and then the gun goes, the gun goes off. So if you're a police officer and you're wrestling with a suspect and you hear one of your fellow officers say "gun, gun, gun," and then you hear a gunshot, yes, you are going to pull your gun and start shooting. That's a well-documented physiological response called sympathetic fire. It happens in law enforcement, happens in the military, where you have several people that have guns. You hear a gunshot and you just, it's that fight or flight response. You get tunnel vision, time dilation, and you just start squeezing shots off until whatever it is you're shooting at ceases to move. And even then, sometimes after that.
And I didn't really understand his thoughts on concealed carrying at a protest. When you had some Boog people protesting at Black Lives Matter, they were open carrying. It seems like that's the point. If you're going to make a statement at a protest of law enforcement, have that shit strapped so they can see it, so they can know. I mean, you're kind of trying to make a point of, all right, well, fuck around and find out how serious we are at this protest.
Right. It's a question of is versus ought. It's like, is there a right to carry a gun? Yes, absolutely. Is it your right to carry a gun at a protest? Yes, absolutely. Ought you be doing that? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on the protest. I was gonna say you look at the Virginia protests. What was that, like 5 or 6 years ago, where you had 40,000 people show up and they were all carrying some heavy firepower, and the left-wing media was out there going like, "Oh my God, they're going to storm the Capitol, they're going to execute the Senate, they're going to do blah 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 blah." No, it was like a bunch of fucking dude bros out having a barbecue on the Capitol grounds, just having a good old time. Everybody is kitted up like they're going to Halo drop into Fallujah or something, and they did their thing. They had their protests. They showed that they're not messing around, and they left the grounds cleaner than when they found them.
That goes back to what I've said too about people half-assing their political actions. If you want to make a statement to ICE, have a couple 200 people show up out there, in kit. Okay, find out, draw the line, find out where they stand, find out how far ICE wants to go. Don't fucking pussyfoot around with a SIG 320 in your coat. You know what I mean? And look where it got him. If they would have had a couple hundred people out there, open carrying, see what happens. Instead, we get this pussyfoot stuff, and you get guy ends up dead. chick ends up dead too. Just
Yeah.
stupid shit. Same thing. I mean, all the way back to J6. I said, they half-assed the storming of they stormed the Capitol and they got in. You can talk about what their motivations were, but they got in there and they just kind of wandered around.
They were let in.
Yeah, they let in. Okay, you let in or you got in, whatever. But it was a half-assed event, if you ask me.
Trevor commented over here. He said the SIG heard its owner screaming, "Help me," and said, "Okay."
Yeah.
This is the Ralph Wiggum style of helping, with his finger in his nose. Going, I'm helping.
But yeah, I mean that's where we're at. I don't know if anything will happen to these cops. I don't think, it was lawful but awful.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think anything should happen to these cops either, because after watching it and after watching several breakdowns by people with higher resolution monitors than I do,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd have to say, frame by frame, this is one of those things. It's like it's bad. It looks bad, but did they secure this gun, put him on his knees, and shoot him in the back of the head? No. No,
We had a comment over here. ICE probably shouldn't have moved in after pepper spray. Thought once you pepper spray, you should back up and create distance. Yeah, the whole thing was stupid. They pepper sprayed. He tried to help a lady up. They pepper sprayed him, shoved him on the ground, and started wrestling with him. Like, it seemed like a whole training issue. And I'm gonna guess those guys were just frustrated and pissed off all day from dealing with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Bad situation.
I can't blame them either. Tensions are high on all sides. These guys, they're not just trying to do their job, not just trying to follow order. They're trying to do a job that it is legal, it is constitutional, and it is moral. And I don't care what any of these people that are trying to go to bat for these Somali scam artists and Venezuelan human traffickers and any of the other people that ICE is trying to get out, okay? Those people do not have a right to be here. They did it wrong. And the reason that ICE and CBP are doing things the way that they are doing them now is because they failed to do it the way they were supposed to for the past 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Through both Democrat and Republican administrations, our immigration policy has been, it's just a little illegal immigration. We can take it. Just let them in, man. They're just trying to get a better life. I know they're a net drain on resources and taxpayers, but we're the United States. We can take it. It's like, no, we can't. We cannot take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see, we still don't know how many people got in under the Biden administration. Several million. And then you compound that on top of the millions that trickled in slowly over the years that we had a border. And then Biden threw the doors open wide, and 10 million, 15 million, 20 million people flooded into this country. And our government and our NGOs facilitated their entrance into the country. And now when somebody comes in and says, no, this is not how a country is supposed to be run, we have to clean up the mess from our predecessors. Now you want to call the guy a Nazi because he's got guys out there in full kit trying to round these people up because protesters are throwing bottles and rocks and getting in their face with pistols with a shake awake feature on them.
That's the progressive, Disney adults with that mentality. They want to be fighting the good fight against the bad guy, the obvious bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
It's just that mentality.
Yeah. And to kind of put a fine point on it. Trevor actually sent me the pictures of the guy's pistol and asked me to kind of like break down what was going on in it. So I had to, really zoom and squint to take a look at it. But then when I saw that it said SIG Custom Shop on the slide, I'm like, oh, okay. So I went to the SIG Custom Shop website where they have like a kind of a a la carte Build-A-Bear type system where you could put together a SIG 320 however you like it, and then they'll put it together at the factory and then ship it to your FFL. It's actually a really cool system, and I think more gun companies should do something like honestly, seriously, it is pretty fucking cool. It just sucks that it's a SIG 320. But anyways, yeah, I looked at the picture, I looked at the options on the SIG website, and I put together his gun to the best, from what I could tell from the pictures, and I think I nailed it. The only thing that was different, I think, was the grip panels. I think the grip panels are third party, but everything else was available on the SIG Custom Shop website. That was an almost $2,200 pistol.
Jeez, seems like an odd choice for that guy.
Yeah, nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going with a $2,200 SIG.
Yeah, and another one of the people that I've seen breaking it down. Apparently, it was the SIG 320 AXG, which is the aluminum grip frame module, and it had a bunch of other features on it. It had a SIG Romeo 5 enclosed red dot sight on the slide, and it was also apparently loaded with SIG V-Crown hollow point ammunition, which to me says that he got this as a bundle. And if you look at the gun and you look at the magazine, because the picture that I saw, the magazine was pulled out of it, there's no visible wear on the frame. An aluminum frame it wears pretty quick. Magazine has no wear, so there was no insert drop wear on it. So this was either a fairly recent buy, or he's had it for a while and just didn't use it. So
I mean, where are you going to shoot a SIG I'm going to guess the amount of gun ranges in downtown Minneapolis are lacking.
Probably.
To back up a little bit too, the one thing I haven't liked what they've done about this guy is try and paint some sort of picture of he's a cross-dressing patient abuser. Like, it would make it any better that he ended up shot. Have you seen that?
Yeah, this is
that was kind of gross.
Yeah, it's poisoning the well.
Yeah.
I know we make jokes about it a lot, but being a weird tranny is not a death sentence.
No.
Yet.
They do enough job. They do enough job on themselves. They don't need any help. But It turned out none of that was even true. The photo of him cross-dressing was somebody else, and I think the stories about him abusing patients were just something posted on 4chan. That back the bus up a little. On Epstein, did you see where the owner of 4chan back in the day, remember Moot?
Sure.
He went to Epstein Island, and the week after, he started the /poll board on 4chan.
I wonder if these are connected.
Yeah. So all the, and then all the weird conspiracy stuff that made the right look like a bunch of dumbasses, all the QAnon stuff, that was all born out of Poll, which apparently was an Epstein Island creation with the founder of 4chan.
Owner of 4chan goes to Epstein Island, sees horrors beyond human reckoning, goes back and goes like, I'm going to roast these motherfuckers online. Y'all ain't going to believe this shit.
I saw that earlier and I forgot to mention it, so I just wanted to back up a little. But yeah, Minnesota is still going on. I don't know. There's no end in sight really at this point. They got rid of what's that, Bogino or whatever? Bovino brought in Homan to straighten things out. We'll see.
Yeah. So I honestly think that the call between Trump and Walz and the sit down between Walz and Homan probably went something like this, where it was like, hey, Tim, guess what? We have this thing called the Insurrection Act, and you're meeting all of the criteria. Tighten your shit up, or you and Mayor Fry are going to be behind bars for a very long time. Oh, okay. Can you maybe throw me a bone here so it doesn't look like I'm a total pussy and cop out of everything? Yeah, we'll take Bovino out and send him back home where he's going to retire. He's close to retirement anyways. We'll throw you a bone and you can get up in front of your people and say that you got concessions from us. But from now on, when I says jump, you say how high. Oh, okay.
I haven't heard anything else about other cities having issues like Minnesota. I don't know why the fuck that place is so weird when it comes to this stuff.
Somalis. And I'm not even joking. They are there in a concentration large enough, and they vote in a block large enough that you have to appease them, or you will never win an election.
Did you see the guy that there was a guy on Sean Ryan? He had a buddy who's an EMT in Maine, which apparently has a large Somali community.
Hmm.
Did you see this interview?
I did not see the interview, but I think I saw a clip of it. But just go ahead.
So his buddy was like, we get calls for people, heart attacks, all sorts of stuff. We get there, they're already dead. My buddy said he's never been to a Somali call where somebody was dead. And he started asking the other EMTs, and they're like, no, we haven't seen it either. And they kind of put two and two together. If they're getting food stamps, whatever, they're not going to want to say somebody died, right?
Hmm.
So when somebody dies, the Somalis just disappear them. They don't call for an ambulance. They don't call a funeral home. So then him and the other EMTs are like, where are the bodies going?
And I bet they still collect that
Right.
dead person's
Yeah,
welfare.
that's the whole scam they're running. The Somalis have figured out, we've wondered, I mean, we've seen the IQ level of Somalis. We've wondered how it seems like any loophole in the welfare system, these guys have figured it out.
I imagine putting that level of dedication to something productive.
Yeah.
This is like the welfare scam equivalent of sitting on your couch and your remote is on the other end of the couch, and instead of just picking your ass up and walking over and grabbing it, you're like tying socks together and like trying to hook it and bring it over to you. It's that proactive laziness that it's like if you guys put half as much effort into something real and productive as you do with fucking fraud, you guys could have a moon base by now.
Yeah, and that's why I wish it wouldn't keep getting hung up in Congress that they're trying to end being able to send money overseas.
Remittances, yeah.
Yeah, that's where all this money's probably going. Just stop it. You
Yeah.
know,
There's one congressman who's put a bill out that said that if you're on public assistance of any kind, any welfare at all, no more remittances at all. And trying to send money overseas while you're on public assistance is going to trigger an audit. Because obviously you're doing well enough that you can send money overseas. You don't need public assistance, right?
and as a libertarian, I hate to say taxes on stuff, but tax any money getting shipped out of our country.
Yes.
If you're some rich fuck shipping money out of country, tax the shit out of it. Make their
Yeah.
money stay here.
Yeah.
But
And then there's
that's the easy fix there. If you're getting any sort of welfare, you're automatically blacklisted from. I mean, maybe they can send a pittance out, but not huge amounts.
no. And then there's when you were bringing up somebody talking about a Somali scam on Sean Ryan, I thought you were going to talk about this other, maybe it was a different podcast or something, but um, another way that they're scamming is they have translators that are contracted to these services like the emergency room or the fire department or something like that. So if you have to call up one of these, public services and you don't speak English, they have to call in a translator to translate for you.
Mhm.
And the minimum amount is 8 hours of work. So even if your translator is only there for 30 minutes translating so you can get, like the splinter pulled out of your finger or whatever in the ER, they're going to charge for 8 hours of work minimum.
Mhm.
And it's like $100 an hour. And so since these people know each other,
I already know where you're going. Yeah.
they, I got to go to the
Whole
emergency
translator
room.
cartel going on.
Exactly. If you ever have to go to the emergency room or you have to call the fire department or the police, ask for a translator, even if you speak perfect English, because then it's going to get me my $800 for 8 hours at $100 an hour, and I'll give you 30 or 300 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nice racket if you can get into it.
If I run a scam like this, I'm Estonian, you're Estonian. Anytime you or I goes to the hospital or for legal services, they got to contact.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there again, it's like their genetic skill is welfare fraud. Their IQ in every scientific category: toilet, welfare skill, IQ 170.
Yeah, it's like it's dumping all of your skill points into one thing.
What's the other thing? Oh, the other thing that took over the last week was penguin memes.
Penguin memes and Amelia. Sometimes both at the same time.
Which apparently Penguin is a fascist Christo nationalist at this point.
As God intended.
You
really think a guy that dresses that sharply is going to be some type of gay race communist?
Yeah, and then the Trump team was fast on it, showing again what the left can't meme. We got hold on. We got that.
Trump and the penguin walking towards Greenland.
Yeah. Which people that didn't actually get the meme whatsoever are like, oh, Trump's such an idiot. There's not penguins in Greenland.
Not yet.
Yeah. You completely did not understand the meme.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that thing was 9 years old? Just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it would not have had the impact that it did if it didn't have Werner Herzog in the back narrating it.
Right. Yeah. It was great. I loved all the memes out of it. I think we need those to offset the craziness once in a while. I mean, it was a heartwarming penguin for all our craziness. But yeah, we're getting up on an hour here. We're back next week again. I'm done with vacations for at least a week. I'm heading to gamble my money away on the Super Bowl the weekend after, though. So we'll be back next week. The weekend after that, we will be gone again. But thanks for joining us tonight. Check us out on roads2liberty.com. Roads and number 2 Liberty on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, X. We are R2L Pod.
At R2L Pod on Twitter.
At R2L Pod on Twitter. Hobbs is pretty active there. Check it out. I didn't see last week. Did you throw any penguin memes up?
I might have thrown a few up on Twitter. I don't know. I might have shared a few.
Check us out on there, and thanks for joining us, and stay honky.